All right. Hey, y'all. Welcome back to Hearts Wine from Hearts Distractions, the space where we keep it real about love, relationships, and everything that comes with trying to stay connected in a world full of chaos. Now, today, y'all, I need you to grab your favorite drink, find a quiet space, and lean in because this episode right here, this is for the women who are holding it all down, for the wives who are trying to love and lead, for the mothers who pour from an empty cup, and for the ones who wonder if walking in purpose means walking alone. I'm joined by a phenomenal woman, Natasha Richburg, a wife of 36 years, a mother of 4 adult children living across the globe, a preacher, a professor, an author, and a true example of what it means to wear many crowns with grace. In this conversation, we talk about the whispers, the ones deep down that tell you to move when everything around you says, stay still. We unpack what it really takes to build a long-lasting marriage, to raise children who carry your legacy, and to show up for yourself, even when you're showing up for everyone else. So whether you're in a season of love, loss, purpose, or trying to figure out what's next, this one's for you. Let's talk about marriage, motherhood, and purpose with Natasha Richburg. So let's get into it. Hi, Natasha.
Hi, how are you?
Good,
Look, I'm
good.
singing. You know, when women sing, we're talking. Girl, let me bring you up to date.
I know that's
That
right.
book about my 36-year marriage, I'm now 42, getting ready to do 43 years in September, to the
All
same
right.
man that I don't not only love, but I like.
I know that's right. Love and like in the
Like
same
him.
sentence. It's never heard of out here, I'm telling you.
Like when I introduce myself to people at the start of the school year, I say I'm C. Natasha Richburg, mother of 4, wife of 1, and I still like them.
That's a
And,
blessing.
and you could tell in the room, people go, really?
Right. Because, nowadays, think about it. We don't have too many out here that are having long term marriages anymore. People are quick to get divorced.
It's so crazy. I could talk about that to all of the women. And one of the biggest mistakes I made in my long-term marriage, I thought because my children lived with us and they saw us that they knew. But you know what we did not do? We did not teach them.
Mm.
They saw us. They didn't even know of the strategies that we had. Can I say I did not know? What my children saw was they
Mm.
never saw us fighting, but they did see us mad. And
Okay.
girl, when I was mad, I was the girlfriend mad. And he had to fix it. And they saw
Yes.
daddy go out and buy me flowers.
Okay.
They even seen me get so mad one time I quit him. Dear Melvin, handwritten note. I quit
Oh,
you.
oh,
Folded it
wow.
up, gave it to my son, who was about 9 or 10. Deliver this to daddy. And then he had brought it back. Tash, please take me back. Will you go with me?
Oh,
Yes or no? Heck no,
wow.
no. And I gave it back. And then my son said, Yo talk, yo talk. And we
I
laughed.
like that. That's
We
so
laughed.
cute.
But what they didn't know, we would
Hmm.
decide behind closed doors the strategy for a different situation. And in most situations, I elected to take the heat, bad
Mm.
cop, and he would play the good cop role. So they
Okay.
really believed when they went to college that I ruled the nest. I was like, I ain't rule this
They said
nest.
you was the head of the household.
I said, you think? I said, That's what you all saw.
Mm.
We had a strategy. And they thought that I ruled him. I said, Mal, they think I ruled you. And I didn't. That was part of our strategy. But I didn't know at the time. They really thought it was true. And it was times when we really weren't mad, but we made pretend we were, because if
Mhm.
they didn't, maybe like a couple of times we came home, they had hooked school and come here. I was so grateful they wasn't doing nothing but playing video games, but I couldn't. No, you all are in trouble. I call up Melvin. I say, Melvin, call the po-po. He said, "What are you talking about?" I said, "Call a po-po." And then I would say, "Okay, we're not gonna call a po-po." He was on the other end saying, "You crazy." I said, "That's what you all gonna do. I need you to clean my house. You clean my dishes. You clean." I got them to clean my whole house, girl. That's why I came home early. Then I said, "The next time you come back,
Mm,
you all will be invited. We're having a party Saturday, 4 o'clock sharp." They was all here. I fixed all this food. We had the best time, but I was not mad. I was so grateful. It was just kids doing dumb kid stuff. I didn't know what to do,
of
but I had to
course.
act like I was mad.
Of course. You had to set the tone. You had to set the boundaries as well as get them to do what's needed, right?
Yes,
I
we
know
watched
that's right.
TV while they worked.
That
Yes.
part. Quickly give us a brief introduction into who you are, as well as like important things that you want our listeners to know about you.
Okay, so overall of who I am, of the mother and that. I also worked for the federal government as an information technology executive. So I was at the higher
Mm,
levels. At the same time, I was teaching at the University of Maryland, Baltimore County. So I worked in the federal government for 31 years. And at what time I was teaching. So by the time I retired at 31 years, I had 15 years of teaching at the university level, information
wow.
technology courses. I have a BS in business, an MBA, a master's of information system, all but a dissertation for a doctorate in education. While at the same time, I've offered 12 books, and three of which are audiobooks. One is about our marriage, where we authored a book at the 36th year about IVF, my daughter's IVF experience, which was a wonderfully magical experience that has some tragedy in it, has some good times, but we told the hard story soft. So for people who are going through IVF, it gives you hope. And those are also audiobooks.
The point.
The first time she had IVF, she was married to her second husband. The day she got pregnant is the day he said he didn't want her or the baby. Oh, girl, that's a
No.
whole nother story. That's a whole nother section. And then after that, that was during COVID. So I had to be the partner in the empty hospital. Well, that's another story. And
Oh,
then the second one, she wanted her child to have a sibling. So she actually did a donor sperm and she had a son.
that's
So
beautiful.
we can talk about infertility, people who had a successful first normal pregnancy, but they
Mm,
have secondary infertility. Talk about that. So both books. So is uh, one book is about the 36-year marriage, and two are about IVF, and then 12 Christian related books.
okay. Very nice. Wow. 12 books. That's
Yes, and I'm
amazing.
a life coach, and I'm a boutique life coach. I only coach people who've gone through me. I won't take somebody out of the blue.
Okay.
So if you don't know a former client, you're not for me. Because to coach somebody, they have to be prepared. They have to know
Absolutely.
what they're getting into and they have to be prepared to do the work. So if you've gone through somebody who had me, you know that.
Yeah, you know that they had to show up and do the work and you ain't playing, right?
Not
You gotta
playing because
come
if
in
you
ready and willing.
I've had one who met me through a friend, and after a month and a half, I had to give her a pink slip.
Ooh,
If you don't do the work,
ooh,
I'm
you got to
busy.
go.
You got to
Yeah,
go.
I know that's right.
And then in my coaching, I send them to therapists like this. Okay, you need therapy. So this is how you're going to intro to your therapist. So I even help them feel comfortable about going to therapy.
Nice. And that's what it's about, honestly. You know, especially
Yeah.
that transition in itself. And a lot of people don't understand like the difference between like therapy and coaching. You know, and I try to educate my listeners too, you know, a few segments that I've had with giving them the insight, you know, what the difference does look like because there is a huge difference.
It's a big difference. I say
Yeah.
when you come to me, I deal with the what. The therapist did the why, the how, the
Mhm.
what happened, the transition. And so
Yeah.
sometimes they get to me and we can't do the what because the why is looming. And
Mm,
so I said, this is what you're going to take back to your therapist. When you
yeah.
get through this why, we could come back and deal with the what.
Hmm. Yep, they got to dig into all the stuff they holding on to, all the experiences that they went through, and then yes, coaching is the all right. Let's implement this. Let's really like see how we can move forward, how we
Right.
can shift and do in real time.
Real
And a lot
time.
of people don't get that, but they gonna learn today.
They going to learn today because I am not a therapist. That is not my ministry. I coach.
Okay, I know that's right. All right, so I got some good questions
Okay,
lined
go.
up for you today, and we gonna break it down in sections so
Okay.
our listeners can get like the good nitty gritty of the things that you do, how you show up in your marriage, like all the stuff.
Okay,
So,
that's
so
good.
we gonna start with your signature speech, if that's okay, right?
Okay.
That's titled "Turn into the Spin."
Yes.
So, tell us what that means and how it has shaped your journey.
Oh, turn into the spin. One time I was asked to go to Birmingham, England to speak to a group. And I said, how can I speak to a group of women who don't know me? I said, I could tell them about my life in 20 minutes.
Mm,
And my life is such, my mother did not like me at all. She loved me, so she gave me the food, the shelter, all of that kind of stuff. No physical abuse or none of that, but she really did not like me. And so when I got to the point that I was ready to myself, I learned about college through my teammates in basketball. And I
wow.
got to the point I found out what college was. I never heard that word before. And
Mm,
so I went home and I told my mother, I'm going to college. And she said, no, you're not. You will go to work. So I was saying to myself, okay, I'm going to work full time and I'm going to go to college part time. And so I said to my father in passing, who never helped, never gave child support, I'm going to figure out how to go to college. He says, I want a daughter in college. If you go to junior college, I'll pay for it.
okay.
He came up there with his little charge card, paid for my classes, paid for my books. You know, I didn't think he was going to come through, but that was his dream. So I turned into the spin. Where did I get turned into the spin? I love NASCAR driving, and they teach you when your car spins to make it straight, you got to turn in the direction of the spin.
Mm,
And so when she said no, I still got determined. She said, you can't live in my house and not work full time. So I got a full time job in the day and I work full time at night. I turned into the spin. She says, I will not drive you to school and you cannot use my car. It was a 4-hour bus ride. I
wow.
knew three friends, where I had them commissioned to take me to school and bring me home on those days I needed to get there. And it was
Mm,
$10 I would give them in those days. That's probably like $50 now to take
right.
me and bring me back. And on one night, everybody had to work and I had a test and I had to go to school. I asked her to take me to school, knowing she was going to say no, but she said yes. So she took me. I sat in the car real still. I was too scared to mess up. You know
Let me not interrupt this yes moment.
yeah, and you know how you don't want to get in trouble. So I went, I took the test, I got out, I stood by the stop that she came to pick me at, and I got in the car, good evening, and I sat real still. And she said, I can't do this anymore. I heard about federal student loans. I will co-sign for you to go to college if you want to go to college, as long as you promise me to pay you back. I said, I will. She said, where do you want to go? I said, Frostburg State.
Wow. Look at
And I
that.
kept turning into the spin. So for every no, so when I got up there, she wouldn't come to get me to bring me home on vacations like other people. I found a ride. When other people, for graduation, when I finally graduated, I knew I wasn't going to have anybody there for me. Other than like people had family, friends, balloons and stuff, I was
Right.
good. I was even going to go up there at graduation with my wrinkled robe. And my roommate said, you are not going out of here wrinkled. And
Thank God for those roommates.
she on my daggone robe. And and one of the things I didn't tell you before I decided to go to college, The girls told me to go to the guidance counselor and get the college stuff together, and she told me I was too dumb to go.
No, she didn't.
Oh yes, she did. Every no, I just turned into it. So I knew when I went to school, because I knew I was dumb, I studied way harder than everybody else. So then you ask her, turn it to. When I finished that speech, it wasn't a dry eye in the house. It
I'm
was wonderful.
sure. I mean, because you hear the determination in your steps, right? Like most people who hear the word no, want to just stop there. They don't find a way. They don't turn into seeking help and support in other spaces. They just give up. And you were like, no, absolutely not. I will not. I'm going to find a way, no matter what these barriers have been set up for me. And I'm going to keep pushing. I'm going to keep moving forward.
Yeah.
And you did that for yourself.
And it was because of NASCAR. Every time you get a turn, you turn into it. You don't
Right.
run from it, you lean into it.
Right. Literally. I don't know if y'all heard that. She said NASCAR, y'all. She used that.
I
as a
did.
way.
That's how I knew to do it.
Wow. Amazing. Amazing. And the analogy just fits, you know? Okay. So you often talk about the whisper.
Yes.
What exactly is a whisper?
My thing, I call it a God whisper. You could call it whatever you want. But everybody has whispers.
Mm.
And this give me a real example of a whisper. That's the first time I really noticed the whisper. There was a day I was fasting. And when I fast, I'm pretty good at it.
Okay.
And I heard this, I mean, loud. You need to go in a cafeteria and get a yogurt. I'm like, oh no, I am fasting. And I wasn't even hungry. You need to get a yogurt. And I went and I got the yogurt, wondering why I'm going to break this daggone fast. And I'm doing so good. This young man who had been ducking me for 18 months moved out of the state. Tried to do some stuff that I won't talk about online. He was in the cafeteria. I walked over to him, holding my yogurt up, looking wonderful. I leaned down and I whispered in his ear, I'm so disappointed in you. And I walked away because he didn't know what I was going to do. And that was the first time I knew of the whisper. And now I take the whispers and I follow them. Another whisper. When you sent me the ad for your podcast, I normally don't post it after. The whisper says this one I got to do before.
Okay. So you posted it and what happened?
I don't know yet. We'll find out in time.
Okay.
I always know in time.
Wow.
I don't worry about what the answer is going to be because it's going to be what it's supposed to be. Kind of like turn into the spin. Even though you're a dummy, go to college. Even though you're not smart, sit in your room and study. Even though you study econ harder than life itself, and in econ too, you couldn't get above a D. That was my only D. By the time I got in graduate school, I don't know what happened to my brain. Boom! It made sense. It clicked in.
Even though, and I know in therapy world, we call it like negative self-talk, right? There was that negative self-talk there that kept telling you that you weren't worthy enough, that you weren't smart enough, you weren't all these things. But then there was another piece of you that was like, you don't listen to that.
Yep.
Keep going. Do something different for yourself.
Yep.
Prove yourself, and if not anybody else, wrong here.
And if I study and fail, it's because I'm gonna need it at some time in my life. Like another example I give of a God whisper. You know how you join the GPS and it still takes you the wrong way?
It sure does.
That's going to be a route you need for another date and time.
Right.
So rather than wondering why it took you wrong, wonder what you're going to need it for and make sure you remember it.
Interesting.
Because if you think about it, you've gone the wrong way and then you go, I remember this way is when I went the wrong way because you needed it for later.
Yeah, because sometimes That's funny that you say that because I know that happened to me one time. And I know that I drove that opposite way. And it was like, why did I even come this way? I don't even know this way. But something said, go that way. And what happened? There ended up being an accident on the other route that I normally go.
Yep. That's a whisper. And
Yeah.
after a while, because you get used to listening, they get louder and louder and louder. And you really understand. I've
Hmm.
had friends that I've said, you're going to meet somebody at this place at this time. Whether you talk to them is up to you. I just know you are. And people try to stare me down. I'm like, I just good at it. I don't care if you
Right.
believe me or not.
I know that's right.
And I
Wow.
say to people all the time, can you imagine how it is being one of my children? I just have to be at the point that I choose to not say something.
Hmm.
But it's not because I don't know. One big whisper. I said to my husband, I said, my son is going to get hit by a car. You're going to have to watch him. And we live on a 2-acre property far from the main road. I said, I know he is. He was home during the day. I was at work. I kept calling back. I said, I know he is. I said, do you see his eyes? He's out there. I said, but do you see him? Long story short, he got hit by a truck. Was
Oh my goodness.
held back to Johns Hopkins Hospital. He survived, but I knew it. I announced it to the family. I told them.
And
So
how
now
did you know?
I just know.
Wow.
I told my mother-in-law, watch Marcellus, he's going to escape. Oh, no, I'm going to watch it. He escaped, caused a 4-car bang up down there. They said, how do you know? I don't know how I know. I just know what I know.
Hmm. Wow. That kind of is like how some people say, some people have a gift. You have a gift, you
I do.
know?
And another thing I could do, I could be in a room with somebody and I can really see. I remember one time I met up. I went to the cafeteria when I was working, and I saw a guy. And I said, "How you doing?" He said, "I'm doing fine." I said, "You lying? So if you want to talk about it, I'm here. And if you don't, I get it." Then eventually, he came up to me. He said, "Something's going on," and I said, "I know what it is. You want to get a promotion?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Go back to your office, find a job nobody want to do, and take it on." A year and a half later, he came back to me. He said, I did what you said and they just promoted me. Told you.
Wow. Wow. So that's the whisper
The
right there.
whisper. I get a whisper. So if like sometimes I'll meet a married couple. I can't say this, but I'll meet a married couple and I say, how you all doing? They say, good. And I'll pull the chick aside and I say, you lying. You need to talk to you, help you work through it. Sometimes people don't want it. They like to make pretend. I'm like, okay.
I wonder if I had that whisper because I feel like I have moments like that, especially like when I see like people or couples and I go off of body language, facial expression, that all the nonverbals. And when people start talking, they make the certain subtleties, squinting their face, raise of an eyebrow, something always happens. And I'm like, you ain't telling the truth. Something's happening here.
And the whisper
Eyes is
will be
off.
that thing that validates that thought. So that is not your whisper, but something happened that'll validate it. Like you walk outside and you see him snatch the thing from her. And that's the thing that validates the whisper. Because the whisper is always validated.
Okay. So, how can you like recognize when a whisper is like divine guidance versus someone's inner fears or desires,
I
especially
can
if we're talking
oh
couples?
I can always tell with a couple. I can tell when a couple is having major problems. And I'll just say this. I watch all these people who are relationship experts and none of them been married 2 minutes. None of them. None of them. And
Mm.
people like me who've been married forever, don't nobody have me on. Because the truth hurts.
Yeah, it does. Nobody
But
wants to
that's
hear
the
the
thing.
truth.
But that's the thing that heals. So a true person that can help your relationship cannot be on social media. Because what I will say to you in private will help your relationship. I could not say it on social media, but I could help you.
Right. That's why I got this podcast,
And
because
to
we
help
want to say it out loud,
But
right?
sometimes this is the thing that gets me. Sometimes, and I say it in my book, sometimes a good girl don't know how to be sexy.
Ooh, you
I
better
write it in my
say that.
book. I write it in my book. In one chapter, I talk about it. Melvin and I were going to see Luther.
Mm,
See, I didn't even have to say
mm,
anything else. You know what I'm talking
Luther,
about.
yes.
And Melvin decided he didn't want to go. So I took that black dress and threw it on the floor. I got the red dress out the closet and slinged it on the bed.
Mm,
I took my regular stockings, because we was wearing stockings in those days, threw them on the floor. Went to my hussy drawer and got my hussy stockings with the black line up the back, turned my butt to him and made sure it was straight.
mm,
I took them little black pumps, push them around, got my stilettos and put them on slowly. I
mm.
strutted to the car, girl. I strutted to the car.
I
By
know
the
he was like, "Oh no, she didn't."
by the time I got in the car, was he fully dressed or sitting on the other side? And this is where most women mess up. But I didn't. I didn't say a word.
Mm,
I didn't say, "Oh, so you coming?" I didn't say
right,
nothing. I just
right.
drove. And then when I got there to see Luther, I performed. He know I performed.
Yeah,
My man, sing that song. That's the best time.
with the red dress.
Girl, the red just fit me perfect.
That's right.
It was
He was
appropriate to
mad.
go out with my man, but it was a little more than what I picked. So
Right.
you don't want to go out with all this? I got on the wrong outfit. I'm sorry.
He said you was not going out by yourself in that red dress and them
I
pumps and
sure
them
was.
stockings.
And look, I made sure I turned my butt to him and put them stockings on. I leaned all the way down. I leaned. I lean. You know what I'm talking about.
Wow. Wow. So that was a real moment for both of you.
A very real moment. Don't play with me and Luther.
Right.
Don't play with me. And so sometimes what I've learned, particularly if she's a quote unquote good girl, you got to give it a little bit of, you got to have a little sexiata in you.
Yeah, I agree. And it keeps your relationship spicy.
It's like, why the thoughts got to have all the fun?
That part. Right there. No, wives can still have fun too. Girlfriends can still have fun too. So I want to know in that moment, because we gonna keep with this one for a second. I want to know where the whisper was at in that for you and your husband, because there was two different whispers happening here.
Well, in that particular case, he's a man first. And what I didn't know when I first got married, because I didn't realize, unlike some people, I didn't realize I was raised by a single parent.
Mm.
Even though I was raised by a single parent, because I saw my father here and there, I just didn't think of it like that. So what I didn't know is that men can be moody. I thought only women were moody. I didn't know. I did not know. I had no clue because I wasn't raised in a house with a man.
Gotcha.
But I knew that a woman in a red dress is hot. So you want to go out. So I'm obviously not hot enough. Let me go pick my hot outfit so we can go out, or I'm going out by myself.
He said you was Tabasco hot. He was not letting you go out by yourself. That whisper in his ear said, "Don't you let her go out by you. Be a fool if you let her go out by herself. She might not come back home. She might go home with Luther."
And that was the crazy thing. That was in our first year of marriage. We was in our 1-bedroom apartment. I had no idea about moodiness.
Mm.
I know I'm moody. I'm a girl. I'm used to that. But I didn't know it was on the other side too.
Yeah. Oh
I
yeah.
didn't
Some say
know.
even more.
I didn't
Men
know.
just hide it well.
Yeah, they hide it well. Yeah. And so I didn't know what to do, but I knew if I was going to go by myself, he was going to watch me. I think the best part of my marriage that I love at this point, and I tell my husband this often, he works at night sometimes, like tonight he works. I love to see him with his jeans, and he has his lunchbox and his metal boots and he walking out the door. Dang. I
Mm.
love that. I love that. So I know walking out is everything on that end too. So I wanted to see him watch me walk. I wasn't walking in regular stockings. I need to have Huzzy stockings on with lines.
I
And
know
they had
that's
to be
right.
straight.
They spoke a lot louder.
Yes, yes.
Nice. Wow. Well, I think Melvin learned something that day.
Oh, he did. He did. And I tell the story often. He just sit there and grin.
Huh?
He just grins.
Oh, that's super cute. I got a really good question for you.
Okay.
So, what key steps would you say helped you walk fully into your destiny, your purpose, especially as a woman balancing marriage, motherhood, and multiple careers?
You know what? I was just talking to one of my clients today who is a former student of mine. And she said it best. She said, Miss Natasha, you're just a project manager. And I really do. I said, what I've learned, I didn't have those terms. She gave me that today because I
Wow.
give everybody a different day of the week. So she's my Monday person.
Okay.
And as my Monday person, and that means you get as much time of me that you want because you have your day, not like an hour and bye. It's not like that. You got your day. And so she says you manage time. And what I've been teaching her, which most women don't get, they don't know how to value time. Your listeners who are in their head, yes, they don't know how to value time. For example, to prepare for your podcast, and though I didn't do all my homework, how much time did I assess to preparing for you?
Mm,
Ding, 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 ding. What you think? Ding, 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 ding.
an hour? 2 hours?
No, podcast 4 to 5 hours. Because
Okay.
I get the email from the PR person. I respond to the email from the PR person. I put it in my calendar as potential. I look at the kind of questions that you might want to ask. I wait
Mm-hmm.
for you to come back. I answer those questions, and I allot 4 to 5 hours in prep. I have to study because all of the topics on my media kit I know by heart in and out, where some people have to study. So that's what makes people late. They don't understand how long. So for a family of four, how long do ahead of time should you pack to go on vacation?
I know for me,
Okay.
and it's three of us,
Okay.
it definitely takes, I'm going to say, me alone, I can pack in a half an hour. I can. I can. Let me say.
You are superwoman.
Because I know what I want. I know, like, pre-packed in my suitcase, soap, all that stuff. All that's already in there. I need my clothes and maybe some shoes. But the two in the house,
So if you have a pet family, to be up at least 2 weeks in advance, open in a room. They should have a checklist of things they need to do. And you the guardian of the checklist. And then they need to just go on and put it in. The things they have to put in themselves, then they need to put that in. The week before, it should be a final check. And then 2 days before, you can make sure everything's in there and you're not going to leave anything.
right. Wow.
And that's
If
the
my
difference
daughter's
between
listening,
me. That's the difference between me and other people.
yeah, it definitely it takes some preparation.
For people that's always late, it's because they don't understand time
And how many people out here wasting time?
about any marriage. First of all, the foundation is the value foundation.
Mm,
That needs to be kind of in sync. It don't have to be a lot. It don't have to be the same religion. It just has to be an understanding of the value. And in that understanding of the value has to be a level of trust. When how Melvin and I got married, so stupid. It's so stupid. Compared to most people, we were both two people who didn't want to get married.
really?
I never,
Wow.
oh, girl, I wanted a penthouse with white carpet and a little black book. Oh no, I didn't want to be married. I wanted to have men's. I didn't want to have a man. And he told his nephews, who were just younger than him by a few years, he was never getting married. So this was
Wow.
two people with marriage. Had nothing to do, but when I met him, it was something about him, and the same for me.
Hmm.
So that was one value we both had. And then the second thing is when stuff goes wrong in the marriage, did the person intend to do it? Yes or no? A
Yes,
person might
intentionality
a
is so
person might
important.
not have came home for 3 days, but because they saw their father not come home for 5, they really didn't mean to hurt you.
Right.
Because they
Right.
they saw. So did they intend? Then the next thing, are they willing to fix the offense that hurt you?
Mm.
So then if
Mm.
they are willing to fix the offense that hurt you, the last thing, do you have the grace to let them?
You better preach on here today, because these things right here
You think
are
that's deep?
core values of marriage that people just don't get these days.
Who teaches it? Everybody teaching about marriage ain't been married. Everybody's
Right.
teaching about relationships, never had one. I watch these
Hmm.
people. I hear them. They talk about what's wrong. They don't talk about how you fix it.
Or how you got there.
Even if you have low self-esteem, that's what they always talk about. And
Yeah.
the person you pick has low self-esteem. In the lowness of the two things, are your core values the same? If they are, you're cooking with gas. If they aren't, you're not cooking with gas if you both have high health self-esteem and then
Right.
core values. So they always go to self-esteem. Yes, that's part of it. But is that the whole picture? I tell
Nope.
people, you don't even get to know each other to 15 years in. If you haven't, and you notice most people break up between 9 and 12.
That is true. Nowadays, depending on the age range of those that's getting married, it's ending between 5 and 10.
That's what I'm talking about. They
Yeah.
don't make it to 15. I said, you don't
Yeah.
even know each other until 15.
Mm.
You don't
That
even
is
know
so
each
true.
other. And then by 20, you know each other. And then the kids are getting ready to leave.
Now you
And
gotta find yourself all over again.
but see, with me and Melvin, unlike most people, we were married 4 years without kids. So we know how to be buck naked in the house without children. Some people never had that. Some people
Right.
never had that.
Yeah, that's
We
true.
so we knew what we were going back to. Some people only had kids and kids left and they think they lonely. But they don't
Yeah.
know what it's like to build together.
Yeah.
So year
Absolutely.
25 through 35 are critical years to stay together.
Mm, mm, mm. And you know what? Like, to hear you say that, it's like, what are most doing out here? If they don't have these things as core values,
Right,
if they don't understand, one, what it takes, you know, to be in a marriage, what they're signing up for,
right.
let alone, yeah, how do y'all align? Where are y'all compatible at? Have you had time alone before entering into the relationship, engagement, the marriage,
Right.
right? And if you haven't, where can you find that time even in the marriage? So that
Well, I
way,
found it in the marriage. I did.
yeah,
You're a project manager. Let me tell you.
tell us.
You ready?
We ready.
Okay. Monday through Friday, Melvin worked at night. So I had the kids in the day and he had them at night. Okay. So let's talk about school age because I could tell you the whole strategy with the babies. But at school age, I took the kids on a date every Friday night, which consisted of me taking them to the mall, out to dinner, or a good movie if it was a movie out, if not just shopping. Every Friday.
Wow.
Every other Saturday, Melvin and I went on a date. One of the Saturdays, I went out by myself, and one of the Saturdays, he went out by himself. We had 3 core family vacations. We went to amusement park every 4th of July. We always went to like Myrtle Beach or something like that for a week in the summer. And then whatever we thought of in the winter. We went out to Thanksgiving at a hotel, fancy hotel, and two, I hosted it for a few years. So it was either a fancy hotel or I hosted it. So my kids knew what was happening. Now that they're all out of the house, I do not do Christmas on Christmas. We ain't fighting for nothing. I have a Christmas party for everybody the week before Christmas. I'm buying pajamas alike. I'm buying all their presents wrapped and put in a bag for them to take home and open them up Christmas Day. I'm cooking Christmas breakfast and dinner. And we gonna play in our pajamas, take pictures, and Christmas, I don't care what y'all do, me and my man going to the movies.
Hmm. Look at that. I know that's right. You said they old enough. Bye.
And then when they was little, I would have the child. I purposely, for myself, and it was my own decision, did not breastfeed because I wanted him to own the feeding. He was over the formula and the feeding. He did. He would get home from work at 2, beginning 2. He did feedings and everything. He did bottles. He cleaned them. He had them ready. We always had 2 diaper bags packed. He made sure he was responsible for making sure the diaper bags were packed. So all you had to do was grab. And the bottles were in order in the refrigerator. So you knew which one to grab first, second, or third for. He was over all of that. Even when one of my daughters had to go get goat milk for a season for a reason, he was over all that. That was him. I did the list. He did the shopping. I do the cooking. He did the cleaning of the kitchen too. They got big enough to help. When they got big enough to help, every child had a chore. I was the sanitizer. I sanitized everything and cooked. They can't sanitize my bathroom. You can make pretend splash it around, but it's me.
Right. Right.
And the house smelled like Bleach City. Clorox, I should have got stock in it.
Listen, that's the old school right there. They don't know about that. They don't know
about that. And so it was really laid out. And once they got older, we just went to the amusement park 4th of July this year. They missed it. So they want me to plan it again. They really see the value in it. And when we go, I buy shirts alike for everybody. So we got, this year was orange. I'm taking a bunch of the grandchildren. We're going to the baseball game on 26 or something. Taking them to the game. So
I love that. That sounds so fulfilling.
It is. And then the other thing I do now for the grandchildren, I give them what I call walking money.
Walking money. Okay, fill us in on that one.
So I get a whole bunch of $5 bills. My mentor, I learned that from her. And I get a bunch of $5 bills. And when they come over and they, now they get ready to go home, I give them a $5 bill for walking money. It's a memory going over Big Mama and Big Dad's house.
Okay. How old are your grandkids?
From 2 to 22.
Oh, wow.
So it's not, it's all the way up and down. It's all the way up and down. Girl, I already started shopping and wrapping for Christmas.
All right. So I want to hear about one of your books. And the one in particular I want to hear about is People Ask, right? What is the secret of our 36-year marriage? And what inspired you to write it?
What inspired me to write it was people kept asking me what was the secret. And in that year in particular, everywhere we went, they said, what is the secret of your marriage? What is your secret of your marriage? And I started writing down things that happened. And I really believe after writing the book, I do an epilogue about my mother. I think with me, being raised by a person that doesn't like you gives you a level of tolerance that a lot of people don't have. That's one. Yeah. Number 2, I never looked at Melvin as one person. He's my husband. He's the father of my children. He my boyfriend. He my business partner. And he my man.
I know that's right.
I never was mad at all 5 at once, ever. In all the 42 years, never. So if I was mad at the business partner, I was still good with my boyfriend and my man.
Okay.
You ain't doing no business with me for a while, shawty. I'm mad. So I never got mad at the person. I got mad at the behavior.
Talk to us.
And one one podcast I was on, she kept trying to imply that it was a tumultuous time in my life. I said, not tumultuous in the way you're trying to say it. And I said, let
Mhm.
me give you this analogy. Remember in Forrest Gump when he went through that thing with Jenny and he was running, 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 running.
Yeah.
And one day he stopped.
Yep.
I said, for 5 years, I was mad at Melvin because he had a business behavior that I just was not happy with for 5 straight years. And he took it like a champ. He took it. He ate it. He did everything he was supposed to do. And she said, well, how did you not carry it on? I said, didn't Forrest Gump stop, turn around and go home? That
Yep.
happened to me. I was just over it. I was good. He proved himself. We was right. That's why when people get mad and leave, I say, go live in the basement for a month or two, a year,
Right.
till you work through it.
Yes. Nothing wrong with a little separation to get it right.
And to get it right. And so that was the kind of things. And then on chapter 14, I wrote a list of questions that people should ask, easy questions. For example, are you the type that people can just drop over family and spend the night? Some people are, some people it drives them crazy. Are you the type when you go on vacation, you wanted your nucleus family or you want everybody to go? Those kind of questions break up marriages if you don't have
It does.
if you don't have the answers or haven't thought about.
Yeah, that means don't be out here asking what's your favorite color. All right. Can
Yeah.
we get some harder questions, please? Right?
So those kind of what seems to be not that deep. Do you believe in allowing somebody to smoke in the house? What about having alcohol in the house? Some people it's a big deal. Some people it's not.
Yeah. I mean, one that just, if I can share this with you,
Uh-huh.
a few of my couples lately, it's been all around like health and finances, right? So my thing is like, are y'all asking these questions before y'all got together? Like, when's the last time you got tested? When's the last time you've been to the doctors? When the last time you took a budgeting course or had a financial advisor or did some credit counseling to help with budget? Like, y'all don't ask these questions. So y'all are falling for anything.
They don't want the person to get mad. I'm like, if it's a
Mhm.
good question, it's like the Bible says, it'll cut, but it'll heal.
Yeah.
So the only way it won't heal if it's not a good question. You should ask every question. If they get mad and they leave you, like people would say to me, aren't you afraid somebody will steal your husband? I said, you can't steal what's mine. If you
That's right.
steal him, he was never mine.
It was never yours. Yep.
Well, that sounds
I agree with
cool.
that.
That's real. If you could steal him, then he's not mine.
Yeah. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Because what's meant for you is meant for you.
Right.
You say your marriage is not like a sitcom. What
No.
does that mean?
When people get married, they think if they have an argument, it should be solved in 45 minutes. I just told you, we had one that didn't settle for 5 years. Sitcoms are over 45, 50 minutes. That's not marriage. You're going to have, and this is a crazy thing. There are some things that would kind of bother me, and I didn't get it. And I noted it too, 33 years in.
What's that?
It was just little things. And Melvin would always say, it's not you, Taz. I didn't know what that meant. And then one day, I was like, it's not me. I heard it. I could repeat it. I didn't get it. So I thought certain behaviors were due to something about me, and it wasn't.
Oh.
But I didn't get it. I heard it. I understood it, but it didn't
resonate right away until that moment.
My biggest thing about marriage, being right is overrated.
How about that?
I'm getting ready to write a book about it. It's really overrated. If you're right, and I'm like, at one point in my life, I was right, and everybody in my house hated my guts. So what was good about being right? What was more important? They understood what I meant, and they could articulate it in a way that was beneficial. Not that I'm right.
And it's okay to be wrong sometimes, and acknowledge that too.
Yeah, I didn't understand that. I could be wrong a lot of times. Lord Jesus. Whew.
Can't we all?
Oh, yeah. The things I didn't know. That's why I'm so anxious to help people, because I didn't know.
So some things that you would say that you wish you had known earlier that you definitely know now?
One of the things I didn't know, how many people would be jealous because our marriage is working.
Mm.
I thought people would celebrate that.
Ooh,
I didn't know it would
talk
send
about it.
people. I didn't know it would send people down the rabbit hole. I had no idea. Why would you care if I like him and he like me? I didn't know. And I used to think, how do I apologize? I could tell they mad at me. What did I do? And it really, and one time one of my friends called me up crying, you married to him and I don't have a husband yet. And I'm like, but why are you mad at me?
Right. Wow.
So
Wow.
I didn't know that. I had no idea.
Yeah. And you know what? It's interesting you say that because a lot of couples I've had maybe within the past 2 years speak about that around the time that they're getting married, right? When they are planning their weddings and, watching the behaviors of their wedding party, a family around them, other friends, and just seeing like initially how they were kind of like celebrating them, but until they got engaged and started planning a wedding to spend their life together, it was like a whole 360,
And that's what
you know?
happens. And that's a normal part of it that you don't see on TV. People don't
Yeah.
know. And you don't know that your happiness, like at my 40th wedding anniversary, I never had anniversary parties. Never, never, never. Never renew vows. My daughter wore me out. She was like, it's your 40th. Can you have the main people who I thought would be the main people? None of them came. Now,
Wow.
people
Hmm.
came, but people more distant from us versus it's kind of like people who see us from the window versus people who come in the door. People who
Yeah.
come in the door, not one of them came.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. What did that say to you?
I know they like us. I just didn't know. And a couple of them told me it really hurt really bad. So they actually told me and they knew they could say it to me. Seeing us together just made them realize what they didn't have. And that's not what I was trying to do. I wouldn't do an anniversary party again. I would do a party, but not anniversary, no.
That's jealousy in rare form, though. Like, how do you look at someone else's marriage and say, I'm not going to show up for your anniversary because things ain't going right in my life or in my relationship, in my marriage? You're still supposed to show up and celebrate your friend, your family member, not hold resentment, not hold a grudge, not, and that's just really disheartening to hear that that's how they treated you in that moment when it was supposed to be a celebration for you and your husband.
I mean, I understand it now, but that's one thing I didn't know. So that's the one thing
Yeah.
to tell people. You'll find people who know you from work or know you further away. It don't bother them. But the closer the people are, it bothers them. So I didn't know that ahead of time.
Yeah. Wow. So since we're talking about this, I want to jump into maybe some misconceptions. So what are some misconceptions you think people have about marriages, let alone long-term marriages?
People have misconceptions. They think because I'm married, I'm never lonely. Being married is way lonelier than being single in a lot of ways because the single people don't invite me out because I got a husband. And I know a lot of married people won't say that out loud, but it's true.
Right.
People won't invite you out because you have a husband.
That is so true. You would think it would be the other way around,
It's not.
right?
It's
But
it's
it's
very
not.
lonely. I remember probably years 7 through 12 are very lonely for me. I had to figure out how to navigate it and not depend on other people. So that's when I started going to dinner. When I had my date, I went out to lunch by myself and to movies by myself. And just recently, I went clothes shopping with a friend. I said, do you know you're the first friend that's ever gone shopping with me since I've been married? Clothes shopping.
What was their response to
She
that?
said, really? I said, nobody asked me to go with them. And if I asked them to go with me, they would always have excuses. So I stopped asking people years ago.
I know that friend was like, I'm here for you.
Oh, yeah. And we spent some
Don't worry
money
about
that
some other people.
we
I'm here.
was out there spending money we shouldn't have.
Retail therapy is always
Girl,
good.
it felt good. So that's a misconception. That's a misconception.
What would you say are like, if this is anything that you've maybe gone through, but like hard times and a related, what's some misconceptions around that that maybe you and Melvin have kind of experienced, and how did y'all work through?
One thing I've learned about hard times, because Melvin works in a blue collar industry, several times he was laid off. And
Mm,
every time he was laid off, I'm the queen of a project. I put my
okay.
little money together and give him a project around the house that he could work on while he was out there putting his resume out before he got a job. So keeping him
Mm,
involved with a project. Now that all of the kids are gone, I lay out the projects for the year, the projects for the season, and he has
okay.
projects to work on.
I know that's right. Is he retired too?
No,
He's still working?
yeah,
Okay.
he wants to, but he likes. I learned the older he got, he really enjoys having projects. So I make sure I have projects.
You know what that also says to me? Is that you were holding him down, keeping
Yeah,
him
yeah, yeah.
from, you know, falling into himself, right? Being depressed and things like that. Because men, when they aren't working, when they aren't bringing home the bacon,
Say it,
you talk
girl.
about mood. The
Say it.
attitude set in there,
Say it.
right?
Say it. You saying it. You
It sets
saying it.
in,
And
and they
what
don't know how to handle that.
and what he does for me, I'm such a ever ready bunny. He has permission to say, girl, sit your tail down. And then I go sit
I
my
love
tail
that.
down. I go sit my tail down. Because sometimes I
Because
can't tell.
you're always moving, you're always doing something. And if anything interrupts that, it's like us women, we too, we don't know what to do with that.
No.
Those of us that move that way as well.
So so in our marriage, he has permission. That I remember one time I was doing something at church and I blew up and they called to check on me. He said, she just tired. Give her a couple days. I didn't know I was tired. I thought I was
Mm.
mad. But it turned out I really was tired.
You was sleep deprived?
Well, I'm a sleeper. I love to sleep. But I was really tired. I'm one of them type that go to bed at 8. And at 4 o'clock, I'm ready to run. Like, nobody else is up but me. What else are we doing? But he has a good sense of that for me.
So y'all keep each other grounded.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's what a lot of marriages need these days, is that balance, right?
Right.
We call it complementary roles,
Right.
right? In marriages, right?
Right.
Where y'all might be opposites, but the
That's
opposites
important.
actually help each other out, balance each other out.
Well, I can see why things might be blinking over here because it's thundering. But one of the things that I didn't know early, you got to give the other permission to see things in you that you don't see.
Yeah, absolutely.
And one thing I've noticed, Melvin has been able to call out, such and such really don't like you. You really need to consider being. And I would think,
Oh,
Melvin, you don't know. I used to, after the third time, now when he say it, I just listen. I don't care what I think.
yeah,
He's
because your
called,
partner see things, yeah, you don't see
he's
sometimes.
he's called it every time.
I like that y'all listen to each other and y'all take into consideration what each of you have to say to one another versus dismissing it, right? That's a lot going on out here these days.
But let me tell you this. Oh, this is exciting. For the first time in our marriage, about 4 years ago, we went on a couples retreat. We never did that before. And
Nice.
I learned why we married and other ones aren't.
Tell us, come on. What did you see?
That were with us, they were on their second marriages. In the evening, I said to Melvin, I don't want to go to dinner. He said, I'll bring you something back. And I went to the room and he went to dinner with everybody and hung out with everybody. In the
Okay.
morning, I got up, I went and got breakfast for us, brought it back to the room. He went skiing with them. I stayed in the room. Because I can't do too much extra, but he can. The
Okay.
women would not let nobody sit by their husbands in the van. You can't sit by my husband.
The
You can say that
insecurity.
Melvin all day. I don't care. I know who I am.
Right. You secure in yours.
But let me tell you this. I did tell Melvin, I said, when we go to the casino at night, I want to dance. I heard they got a real good DJ, so make sure you up the dance with me. So when we got there, I was dancing. The other husbands escaped. The wives was looking for them.
Oh,
So while we had time apart from each other throughout the trip,
right.
the only way those men could feel whole was to escape.
And there was Melbourne up front and center because you gave him time to himself.
Yeah, yeah. And we always break up. We never, if we go on vacation, islands, I don't care where we go, I'll go to the pool, type, work on a book or something. He'll go watch the baseball game. He come get me at lunch. We go to lunch. We come back. He might go swimming. Then I go back upstairs. He'll go to the lounge and hang with people. And then we'll come back and we'll go to dinner. We don't be
Right.
together every second.
Right. Yeah, y'all don't have to be codependent on each other. Y'all can have some good. I call it me time. Right.
We don't hover like that.
Mm. I wish more couples would understand what we just talked about just now, because that level of separation is healthy
It is.
for a relationship. And being up underneath each other 24/7, it's a recipe for disaster.
It is.
You got to give each other space. You got to give each other time to invest in, activities that you enjoy in separately,
Yeah.
and then to be able to come back together, enjoy things together.
Right. Exactly. But we don't hover. Even when we go and visit, like my daughter in Virginia, if we go to a hotel. I remember the last time I ordered some food, he stayed downstairs to play pool with people. And then when the food came, he put it up on the thing, finished his pool game, and then he came on up and ate my chicken. Care. You see what I mean?
Right. Yeah,
I don't
absolutely.
care. I don't have to be hooked every
Yeah.
second. No.
And you know what else I heard in that just now? Like, you're not dictating his moves. He's not dictating yours. It's too many women out here that want to dictate their partner's moves. And it's like, no, let
Right.
them breathe.
Right.
They'll come back, I promise, if you
Right.
let them breathe.
Right.
The ones that ain't gonna come back is the ones you need to let go. You're gonna tell the truth today, right? Let them go if they ain't coming back willingly.
That's right.
Totally.
That's good.
Okay, so I want to know what the 5-year rule is you talk about and how it shaped your marriage's perspective.
Right. One of the things that I found with us after about 7 years of marriage, we didn't have goals set in front of us like we did for the first 7 years. So now we do project planning every year. What do we want to accomplish? And every 5 years, we reassess how we've changed in our personality.
I love that. That sounds like my own personal goals.
Yeah, so at this point in my personality, the biggest change at this point, I don't want to know everything. I used to know where all the children were, what everybody's talking about. Was that nope? I don't. Did you nope? Did you talking to them? No, I didn't talk. I don't know. That was hard. But every 5 years, there's a shift.
Yeah.
Maybe your man loved wrestling, and all of a sudden he don't anymore. There's nothing wrong with that.
Change happens. Growth happens.
So how do you want me to facilitate that? You want me to go to the game with you? Want me not go to the game? That's your game by yourself. That's our game sometime. What you want? How we working at? And so about every 5 to 7 years, you got to reassess where you are and define your marriage.
I like that. I need people to do that more in their relationships and marriages, because if you don't have goals, where y'all going?
That's what happened. After a while, we didn't. But now it's constant. It's yearly, and it's like big, like every 5 years, and like a shift in personality. I know with Melvin, as he gotten older, he was never grumpy, but he's grumpier now. So I have to get used to that. I was always yippy. So me being yippy, I just wasn't used to that. So I have to get
Mhm.
used to it. It's not personal, but let's figure this out.
I think when you take time to figure things out, when, to set, y'all lives up that way, you're making a plan for things to be better.
Right.
You're making a plan to grow together. You're making your future.
Yes. That's it. And it's nothing wrong with it. I remember at one point, like in the first 3 or 4 years, everyone would say, well, I was like this when you married me. If I said, but if things don't change, it don't grow. I'm not the same person. I don't want to be the
Right.
same person. I'm a totally different person. And I know you're not the same person. You got to think about the person you are and what you want different. What do you need from me different?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And if you're the same person in your 20s, in your 30s, in your 40s, in your 50s, and so forth, something's wrong.
Right. And I remember at one point, I was like, I'm your wife. I really want to take care of you. I really want to make sure you take the medicine you're supposed to take. I want to make sure you eat right. I don't want it to be all plastic and everything. So I want you to have some fun, but I want, let me do my job. And at first he saw it as me being babying him. I'm like, no, that's my job. And now he lets me do my job.
This is a good segue.
Right.
When we talk about jobs, for me, I feel like the most important job is being a mom, right? And I want you to tell me how it felt for you and still feels for you, because you're not just a mom now, you're also a grandma, right? But how it felt to balance your marriage with your kids on top of a career,
Let me
multiple
just tell
careers.
you, that's easy for me. My man come first. I
Mhm.
married him. They're the byproducts of us. Period. I never let the kids come before my man. Now, there may be a day when somebody got a slash and we got to go to hospital. Of course, they coming first that day.
Right?
They may need to eat dinner. Of course, they coming first that day. But my kids always come after my man. I married
Mm.
my husband. And it's kind of like, this is how I hear it. Mothers can kill me, but I'm married a long time, so I can tell you it works. It's kind of like me and the husband are the head and the brain and the eyes and the ears, and the kids are the rest of our body. So if we take care of only our arms and legs and stuff like that, and not this part, we're gonna die. So it's
Mm.
putting the oxygen mask on the family by taking care of me and the man. And that makes them live. They do not come before him. And I've had to tell them that. I said, when you get on an airplane and the stuff drop, they tell you, take care of yourself before you do the kid. Same in marriage. Women who take care of their kids before the husband, no. And sometimes they get a little jealous with that baby wanting a lot of time. Give
Yeah.
him a little bit of
Yeah.
time. Give him a
Yeah.
little bit. Give him 15 minutes. He'll be good. 15 rub up good minutes. I mean, good minutes. And he'll be good.
That's so true. You got to be able to balance that time. You have to.
But if you don't put the oxygen mask on the marriage, the limbs are
Mm.
going to die.
That's truth right there.
And when I say it, people say it's hard. I said, but if you think about it, it's not. And I always said to my kids when they got older, like my daughter, the books that she wrote, she's been divorced twice, married and divorced twice.
Okay.
And I didn't stay with daddy for y'all. I stayed with me. I didn't stay for y'all.
Mm.
I stayed
And
for
that's a
me.
different.
I did. If we ever had to break up, I would have moved next door so y'all could see him every day. But I never stayed for y'all.
Oh.
And my kids
That,
always tell
that
me
in itself.
they want what we have, but I didn't stay for y'all. I love y'all. But I stayed for my man. And let me tell you, the
Tell us.
the last one left the house and went to college. He went from daddy to my man. What you doing today, mom? He going out with my man. Answer the phone. Hey, what's going on? I'm out with our man. Hi, daddy. He go, hey.
I love it. Because that says something different about y'all marriage, right? Y'all family. First of all, we got different types of families out here, right? But there are so many families out here that don't have the foundation, one that y'all have, which is being able to have kids together and raise those kids together, right? Because you got, co-parenting, those that are raising step kids, all kinds of different dynamics happening. But to hear that, one, as a woman, recognizing that I want to be in this marriage.
And you saw how I changed my tone. I married him, not y'all. That's my man. You're a byproduct of that. Okay? Play your position.
You better say it out loud for the listeners.
If the head is straight, the family will be right.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And the foundation that I'm hearing that y'all created, even for your kids, is a good model to have, because it does say, make sure when you enter into this union, into this type of commitment, that you're in it because you want to be in it, not because of any other form of commitment.
Nope. I want to be here. I want my husband. He
Yeah,
wants his wife. I want y'all too now. Y'all welcome. I
of
want you.
course.
I make sure you all have food, shelter, and we go on vacations. I mean, I make sure you have what, but I want my man. I never
Yeah.
stayed for y'all. I stayed for us.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Now, I have to ask this question. How has being a mom maybe reshaped you in your marriage?
Being being a mom really reshaped me because I understood after I had my first child, that's not my ministry. You know how day
Yeah.
one, I'm not that.
Mm,
And thank God they had a grandmother to go over and be with her house and be around somebody that was that. So
okay.
it reshaped me in that you got to remember I wasn't with a nurturer. But as
Yeah.
I went through church, like one of my daughters said, you didn't used to hug us because I never was hugged. I didn't know you were supposed to do it. But as I learned it, I did it. Hugged
Mm,
and kissed, I love you and all that stuff. But I didn't know that at first. So you only do what you know.
of
And
course.
so it reshaped me as a mother is that I'm one of those, what they call a tiger mom.
Mm. Tell the listeners what that means,
A
because I don't
tiger
know.
mom is one of them kind that really want you to succeed. She gonna lay it all out, the roadmap
Mm,
to success. You can ride it or fail. Couple of them
yep.
rode it, couple of them fail. And I didn't know not to be a tiger mom because I wished I had one. Because remember, my mother didn't help me.
Yeah.
She didn't support me. So I wanted to make sure I supported them all the way. If you
Yeah.
say you want to go to college, I don't care if I got to live under the bridge and eat peanut butter. You going.
Mm,
If you don't want to go, then you can go live under the bridge or in the military because you ain't staying here and doing nothing. Everybody's working. And
right.
so I became a tiger mom that now that they're older, they go, dang, how? Now that they have children, they go, how did you do it?
Mm,
But with 4 children, what I did things where I exposed them all to everything. For example, I had a guy come in my house once a month to teach them instruments. So when they went to
right.
school, they could do the second. So I didn't have to go to 4 different lessons. They was right in the house. I
That's
took them,
smart.
I took them to summer tennis lessons for like 3 summers in a row so they can learn tennis. And all 4 of them was there. Melvin took them all the swimming lessons so they can learn swimming.
Nice.
Really loved basketball, so she had basketball season. One really loved baseball, so he played baseball. One did the marching band, so he played marching band. And one did tennis. And so I didn't have them all in. I was driving around to a whole bunch of. I kind of spread everybody's season out once I saw what stuck. I took them to martial arts to see if that would stick. I took them roller skating to see if that would stick. I took them to a lot of things. My mother
Yeah.
up and took the boys bowling, so they bowled for years.
Mm,
So I did it such a way that some moms kill themselves taking their children to 100 things. I
yeah.
refuse. One child per season. That's it. I'm not doing all of that.
But the thing is, you also introduce them to so many different
I
things to
did.
give them an option and a choice for it to be spread that way.
Yes, I did. And like this summer, I introduced two of my grandchildren to horseback riding. I was introduced when I was
Ooh.
little and I didn't like it. Stinky flies and all of that. But I
Yeah.
thought they might. One, I took him to the horse riding camp. He loved it. And then the other one, when she came out, I took her for a riding lesson. She loved it. So in the fall, I'm going to put the one here in riding lessons. I didn't know he was stinky flies and poo poo all over
Mm.
the place. But he did.
To hear as a mom, like I can truly appreciate what you did for your kids. Introducing them, to all these different activities, avenues, but also so they won't be bored. Kids are bored right now. They have no access to a lot of things,
Yes.
but still have access. But some of these things just, of course, now cost money, where they may not have as much back then. But you found a way to still get them out there,
Yep.
right? And for them to be connected,
Right.
in these ways,
Right.
and I'm sure that by doing that, it also shaped them socially too,
But what
you
I
know?
found, it made them entitled. Two of my
Mm,
children hug my ankles. I talk to them every day, all the time. One I talk to about one a month, and one she don't talk to any of us. What I didn't know, so this is another thing I didn't know when I first got married. Sometimes if you're upper middle class, your children have a level of survivor's guilt
yeah.
because they don't have the struggle.
Mhm.
And so
Mhm.
they didn't have the struggle. But I didn't know how to deal with that because I never had no guilt from nothing. I ain't survived. So I didn't know.
Yeah, you didn't know that piece, that piece in the middle.
Right.
Yeah. The piece of entitlement.
Yeah.
Um, how did you work around that with your kids?
Well, I didn't recognize it until it was too late. I didn't recognize it until it was time for them to go to college. And it was like, you can't make me go. I'm like, you don't understand the blessing in it.
Wow.
Yeah, they didn't. And so I don't have to want money because you have it, but it's ours. And I
Mm.
started instilling in them, the boys came later. You all aren't even poor. You P. You going to college to get an O so you can be poor. And get a
Hello.
job so you can be poor.
They didn't understand what you just said. I'm just letting you know. They didn't understand none of that.
And that was hard because I didn't know to talk about it sooner.
Right.
That was one of the things I did not know.
Hmm. So for our listeners that are parents, talk to your kids early. It's okay to spoil them, but don't spoil them too much where they ain't out here surviving, where they don't know the value of things. They don't know the value of work. They don't know the value of school, of education, those kinds of things. Instill those, please.
But still,
Right?
one of the things I didn't know, because we didn't do that. We didn't buy our kids nothing. Well, I did buy them good at computers because I was in IT. But because their friends had less, and their
Mm,
friends were jealous because they had more.
a little bit more.
And I didn't know because they didn't share.
Yeah. Wow. That's a lesson in that in it.
Well, one other lesson that I helped with one of my clients, because I taught my children to share, and they share real easy, all of them. Some children are trained to be predators
Mm,
and take advantage of children who are gracious.
yeah.
So I tell my clients, make sure your children tell their friends no sometime.
Mm-hmm.
And if they act up, they're not their friends.
Oh yeah,
And that's
absolutely.
how you know. But I thought it was good that my children love to share and love to do, but I didn't understand people taking advantage of it.
Yeah. And it's not always about what you have either. It's also, if I can share, in friendships.
Yeah.
My daughter had this one friend in like first grade, and she started making other friends, and the girl got jealous of her and bullied her for 5 years
Oh my
until we
goodness.
got to the root of it. And the girl basically was like, well, because she dropped me as a friend. I'm like, she didn't drop you. She just made other friends. So it's not just money, it's also those spaces too. And it's like, you have to still, what's the word? Remain engaged
Yeah.
in a way that is a good balance, with your friends. So they, yes, aren't jealous of the things that you have, the people you're sharing time with, or, even if it's a partner, someone that you're with, that's a whole nother
Oh
thing.
yeah, that girl.
Because we talked about that earlier for you,
Yeah.
right? Just with the anniversary
I
party.
didn't I didn't
People out
know.
here jealous of anniversaries. I didn't even know that was a thing.
And see, we
But
didn't have a wedding. So how did I know? We went to the courthouse. We
mm,
didn't have any of that hoopla around wedding and stuff. And I think that's why my daughter kept saying, "You need to have something. You never had anything."
well, that's not true. If we're gonna talk to your daughter for a moment, we're gonna tell her you got everything because you got what? How many years of marriage again? Hello, right? Compared to people out here spending thousands of dollars on these weddings and ending in 5.2 seconds.
Yeah, true. You're right. You're absolutely correct with that.
So
I
you got a
just
lot.
I just didn't know.
What would you say to the women who feel torn between their purpose, parenting, their calling, and any commitments in their life?
See, that's what I different. That's where I talk different. Remember we talked about God whisper?
Yeah.
God wouldn't have made you find the person you found to marry and have the children and the job and the ministry if that wasn't leading to your purpose.
Mm,
They're not separate. They're part of the road to your destiny. For example, because my mother was the way she was, I learned to turn into the spin. And
yeah.
because of that, I never really wanted to get married. And I met somebody who intrigued me in such a way that and how we got married is I was looking for an apartment and I never told Melvin I was looking. And I said, Melvin, you know how we went together? One day I said to Melvin, Melvin, he said, what? I said, do we go together? He said, yeah. I said, well, how long we been going together?
Right.
He said about three months. I was like, okay. Well, then it was like later, a year and a half later, I said, Melvin, I found an apartment. You did? I said, yeah. I'm moving out, whatever, August or something. He says, well,
Mhm.
I don't believe in living together, so we should get married. I said, we should? He said, yeah, let's go get rings on Monday. Let's go
Wow.
the day after you move in. We'll go move in that weekend. We'll go to the courthouse and we'll get married. And let's just go to the Poconos for a honeymoon. And then his mother and them said, well, we'll have a party in the backyard as a reception. I'm like, okay. And then that's how it wasn't deep. It wasn't deep, girl. It wasn't deep. And then about 38 years in, I said, Melvin, I never been proposed to. And then he proposed to me.
That Melvin sounds like a good man.
Yeah, but still, it wasn't like no traditional stuff at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah. Not the fairy tale stuff,
So
right?
the women for the purpose, and because we didn't plan to get married, when we decided to get married, because of the kind of person I was, we moved into the houses that I picked because he would have stayed in the same one bedroom apartment. No, we need a tax break. Come on, let's go. And
Hello.
we moved, and I loved information technology. And because he supported my master's degree, I was able to elevate very easily because he helped me so much. And
Mm,
he was not jealous for 1 second. A lot of men get jealous when they
yeah.
go to school. He was not jealous at all, and he helped
Mm,
me all along the way. That pushed me to really still have the children. And he moved to night shift so he could have them in the night and I can have them in the day, and we could work as a team. And that pushed me to learning a lot, to want to coach people, and I still wanted to be a teacher, and I still wanted to work. And he let me go and work and help watch the kids while I work, which pulled me into the destiny of telling people about our marriage, telling people about
right.
telling people those women, their marriage and their life and their children all come together to their destiny. How do they know what that is? They should be journaling, and the journal will tell them the answer.
Hello. Tell them again one more time.
Together should be message in their journal. And when you
Yes.
go back and read the journals, my journal answered all my questions about life. In my journal, when my grandmother died, I'm like, why do I miss her so? After going back and reading my journals, it was because she was the only person in my life who called me up to simply say, how you doing?
Mm.
And that's where I got the ministry to call people up and simply say, how you doing?
How you doing?
But I wouldn't have known it if I didn't journal. I journaled years ago, vision boards years ago, that I wanted to go to Paris. Didn't think I would go. Didn't believe I would go. But I still, and I bought pictures and around the house. How many times have I been to Paris? Twice.
Mm.
Didn't think I was going to go. So what I've learned, everything in my vision board has come true. So I don't just do a country now. I got one of the world. But my last biggest thing on my vision board was to be debt free. I thought I could never pay all the student loans for my children. It was 200 and some thousand. Did that happen? Yes. I forgot.
Look at that.
I forgot I had money tucked away. Totally forgot. Totally forgot. It was on my vision board. How did I know? The God Whisper came through. The God Whisper sent me a bill saying it was going to go up to $3,000 a month. I was like, God, you wouldn't send me a bill for $3,000 a month if you didn't have a way for me to pay for it. I know
Right.
you had a way for me, and I looked and I found it. So that was
Mm.
a whisper. When most people would say, why I got this bill? No, I knew it was a whisper. So my part for that whisper was to go find an answer. And I found it.
Right. Right. Wow. Okay. First of all, I'm a rewind. I have to repeat some of that to break it down a little bit for some of these listeners to hear. Because you said y'all need to be out here journaling.
Yeah.
Y'all need to be out here doing some vision boards, right? Manifesting the things that you want out of life.
Yes.
Because it can come true. It can happen.
Did I say everything? Everything. Everything. I said it in 3 dialects.
Yes. Everything. Listen, if you don't understand that, I don't know why y'all here. Because
the crazy thing about the Paris part, when I got the call to go to Germany, I'm like, that ain't Paris. I was like, well, I'll go. And I went. I sold a lot of books. I did well. It was a wonderful trip.
Wow. And you've been twice. And sold books. Come on now.
Come on now. And people think that doing a vision board is just phony. It's not.
No, not
Write
at
the vision
all.
and make it plain. But you got to hear the whisper. If I saw that $3,000 bill and I said, oh my goodness, I got $3,000. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm already paying $2,000 a month. And God don't want me to miss up on my shoe budget. I got to know something else because he likes me having a good shoe budget. I'm trying to dig into that. So I knew it was a whisper.
Okay. So we come into a close, right? We wrapping up some stuff. But for some listening out there, right, who's in a season of confusion and silence, where the whisper isn't clear, what would you say to them right now?
Right. In your journal. Go to the dollar store. I think it costs $1.25 now. Go to the $1.25 store and buy a journal and $1. Look, every Christmas I ask Mom to go dollar store. He know he got to go get me a big calendar, paper clips, and pens from the dollar store. Because I love those. That's where he go. Don't be fancy on me. Go to the dollar store. I love it. And so go journal.
Yeah. Journaling is so, first of all, it's soothing, right? Just to get out your thoughts, your feelings, your plans, all the above. And it's taking a moment for you to sit down, pause, and just reflect. We all need that, especially nowadays with this administration kind of going on right now. We all need to just sit down and plan ourselves and get out all the thoughts, all the feelings, all the things, to heal ourselves.
I mean, this year I had decided for one of the things for promotion for our upcoming podcast, as well as my children's birthday, I wanted a cookout and I wanted it old school. Hot dogs, hamburgers, red Kool-Aid, and white sugar. That's it. Don't that remind you of the old school?
Take me back.
Take you back. Adding everything, but the main thing was hot dogs, hamburgers, red, not orange, not grape, not strawberry, red Kool-Aid and white sugar.
Yes.
Do
Yes.
you know people killed that Kool-Aid too?
Hello.
I didn't think that many people would really drink it.
Listen, we back in the day we had like two.
I really just wanted to go back. And we
Yeah.
played bingo, and I cooked a whole bunch of, I did sausage and other stuff, but that was, and I just wanted to have fun.
You said the key word right there. Need that in your marriage. Need that being a mom, being an entrepreneur. You have to have fun. Can't be serious all the time.
And if you're a mom and you're single and you want to be married, write that in your journal. If you're a mom and you're single and you want to stay single, but don't say all men are dogs because you'll never meet a good one. Whatever you
That's right.
say, that's what you're going to meet. So if you say, I'm praying for a good one, write that in your journal.
Be specific.
Yeah.
As much as possible.
Right.
Right? Because you're manifesting what you want.
And hear the whispers. And this is another thing when for those of you who say, well, I've never heard a whisper. When something happens to you, don't ask why. Ask, what am I supposed to learn from this?
Absolutely.
If like your doghouse burns down, not why, what am I supposed to learn from this? And the whispers come out from everywhere.
Definitely. I just want to thought it. I have a lot of couples, even in therapy right now, as well as like some coaching, where it's like, I need them to use this philosophy that you're throwing out here, this whisper, because some of them, they'll tell me, well, I know that he don't treat me right. How do you know that? Because that whisper is telling you this, and you not doing nothing about it. You got to put some action into play here from what you're hearing. If you use your journal, if you write about it, if you read it back to yourself, you see what's in front of you. But a lot of them, they also know like they're hearing something telling them to turn and go a different way, but they're ignoring it.
Right. But the question isn't that. It's like, what are you supposed to learn from it?
Yeah. What are they learning from it?
And then that's what they should write in their journal, because they go, I don't know what to write in my journal. Well, what are you learning from that thing that don't feel good? What are you learning from that thing that is not right that's happening to you?
Yeah.
And because when you take them out of really talking about it, actually, I have all my students always write lessons learned at the end of every homework assignment. And some students fall into it so heavy. They go, this is the best thing that's ever happened to me. I said, it's like dragging biscuits through gravy. It tastes different when you drag it. A lessons learned is dragging that biscuit.
And who don't like a good biscuit?
Well, who don't? Girl, you can tell I'm hungry. Why am I sitting here talking about a biscuit to you? Because I'm hungry.
Hungry. But telling the truth at the same time. Because at the end of the day, that biscuit gonna be dry if you don't add no gravy. Right? Which means also saying, reality is, if you're not listening to the whisper, and you're not trying to learn the lesson, your life gonna be dry. Right? You're gonna be stagnant. You'll be right where you are, not learning a thing, and you're gonna keep following the same pattern after pattern after pattern you've been living. Nobody wanna do that.
Nobody. And so many people are afraid if I let him go, I'm gonna be alone. But how do you know you standing in the way of who's supposed to be there?
Blocking their blessing.
They just don't think about it like that.
Right. Because then we say earlier, what's meant for you, it's gonna be for you.
It is.
And if it ain't for you, let it go.
Let it go. Yeah. And they always say that's easier said than done. Well, who said life is hard? I mean, life is not easy. Who said that?
Right. It's not easy. But we got choices.
We do. We
got choices. And sometimes you got to make the hard choice. Sometimes. Right. And it's okay to make that hard choice.
It is.
Whether it's to stay or go. Because neither one is easy. Because they both require work.
Right. Sometimes when you make a decision to go and really mean it, that's all it takes for the other person to act right.
Yeah.
And you execute. You like, I'm so done. I'm done. And be done. But don't think it's going to be better out there if you're not really done.
Absolutely. I agree with that.
Hmm.
100%.
Yeah.
Big question before we end for you. What legacy do you hope your marriage, motherhood, and any other messages that you have had, what do you want to leave behind for our listeners?
Definitely want to leave behind the many, many lessons learned. I teach every day to my to my students, to my children, to my students. I mean, even my husband be like, "Oh, here we go again." I just, I really want to be everything I didn't get, and that's
Mm,
the lesson. I don't want it to be a kind of thing that I die and then my child get my house. No, I want you to make enough money, buy this house, I can go get my next one. That's what I want. I want to be alive when you get this house
I
and
know that's right.
sell it to you at a way that you can afford this neighborhood because without that, you couldn't do it. That's what I want
Mm,
to do. I want to be a blessing to let my grandchildren have opportunities to go to different kind of trainings and activities that their parents might not be able to afford. I want to
mm,
keep giving my grandchildren walking money. It was so funny at the cookout. One of the little girls that came was a nephew's little
mhm.
daughter, just a little, and she was helping me. I said, "Come here," and I gave her $5 bill, and I said, "Take them back and tell them that that's your walking money." She said, "I got walking
Yes,
money," and I want
I know
them to
that's
feel
right.
feel special to have that walking money.
I love that, especially for the little people. I have a special place for them.
I mean,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And then I got a new thing. I could tell you about my new thing. Tell you
What's the new thing?
for the grandchildren, whatever your birthday is time five, that's what you getting as a gift. If it's 10, it's 10 times five. And they all $5
Mm,
bills. I don't have to
mm,
shop. I don't have to overdo. Nice crisp from the bank. That's what you get.
right.
Period.
They walking away happy.
Happy with walking money.
Yes. I know that. Go ahead, grandkids. Go ahead, living their best life.
Just trying to do stuff that leaves a memory.
First of all, we already know kids, they appreciate, for the most part, whatever you give them,
They
right?
do. They do.
But if they get a dollar and $5, they is happy.
They are. They really are. So that's the kind of stuff I'm trying to leave memories.
I'm gonna throw this last one in there. I just have to. I just have to
Okay.
because when you said memories, right? It kind of triggered a question. What memories would you say couples should hold on to that kind of represents like your thought around, I guess, happily ever after kind of marriage? What would you say to that?
So you talking about a conceptual memory or something that was executed?
Let's say both.
So a conceptual memory is the fact that now then, when I say that, that means I want something.
I know that's right. We all got that tone, right?
How long we gone together?
Mm,
That's a conceptual and it's a wonderful memory because he never asked me. And I tell
yeah.
women all the time, men are emotionally bashful when we are physically bashful. And
Mm.
sometimes we embarrass them with our mouths. I had to learn it.
That gives our listeners something to think about right there.
The biggest, happiest memory is going to the amusement park with the whole family dressed in the color shirts prior to smartphones with the walkie talkie on Channel 9. Where are you? I'm on the such and such. Where are you on such and such? I'm going to watch the show. Y'all come over to where the show is when you finish. And then we meet up. That's a family because one of the
Yeah.
things I say to people when they say, "Well, my husband's too hard on them," da 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 da. I said, "You need both because if it was up to me, my children would have never rode anything out of the kiddie bar. Period. They would have stayed there till they 40." And all Melvin was waiting for them to do was get tall enough to go to the roller coaster. I had to
Yes.
because I couldn't do it. And so
Wow.
you need somebody that's going to push and somebody that you all right. Let me check you. And you need the two.
Yeah, you need the balance. Absolutely. Because they're learning from both of you,
And it's
right?
good that you don't agree on every single aspect of marriage. I mean, rearing, as long as you can come to a compromise. And what we did is when the girls got in middle school, I was the face to the school. When the boys got in middle school, he was the face to the school. So I would tell him what I really wanted to know, and he would go. And all the way up to high school. And I did the girls.
Wow. Okay.
Because every time the woman walks up there, they act like the man's invisible. And that's why I wouldn't go. Because, and then when they see him with their dad, they respect the dad. And that's why he went. And I was like in his ear, he need to call and ask me something, but I didn't go on purpose. I didn't want them to know me by sight. I wanted them to only know him.
I mean, that makes sense, because when kids hit a certain age, also too, it's like they need that mirror image of who they are, gender-wise, definitely, which does play a major part. And it's nice to hear that, you and your husband kind of balance that out for your kids too.
And then what I would do for my sons, I would go up to the college and tell all the girls, don't you let my son go near a door and not open it for you. Or when you got bags, call him. He will take your bags in the house. I'll get you. That's him. Not around my son. Nah.
I know that's right.
Oh, yeah, I gave up. I'm giving permission. I need you all to be ladies, and I need you to let him be a man. Don't be messing up all my hard work.
Right.
They call me from deep, mommy. They tell me it's a door. Did you run and get it? Yeah. Okay.
Right. Well, we can definitely say between you and your husband, y'all set them up right.
Well, you know what? It's true. Because when my one son worked retail, they said, who raised you? Tell your mother and father they did good. Because he is like, and both of them, all of them, they're very mannerable. Because they know I would. But they don't always appreciate
it. We just going to say old school, right?
Yeah, very old.
You went old school on
very
them.
Old. I mean, back to the stage of wearing huzzy stockings, old school.
Uh-huh. I know that's right. All right. So, any last final words for our couples out there, especially, women in marriages? Any last words, anything you want to leave them with?
One thing I would like to say, don't worry about the argument or how loud the argument has. Know the barometer of your marriage. When Melvin and I have an argument, I know it's going to take 48 hours before he's beginning to be ready to talk about it. So I don't bring it up because that's what he needs. Don't think, I'm going to talk about it now. If he's not ready to talk, let it go. Some men might need a week. Some men might need 2 weeks. Let it go.
Yeah.
Have an argument. Write in your journal what you want to say when you talk about it. And wait till he's ready to talk. And then if you say he's never ready to talk, then that's a bigger problem.
Hello.
That's a bigger problem. But let me tell you all something to give you some good news. One day we had an argument, and on the way to work, Melvin called me to talk about it. I said, who's this? You all right? You want to talk about it? It's only been 2 hours. I said, I should call Guinness. We should get some money for this.
You said this was a record.
It was. I was so surprised because I always had to wait. I've learned to wait now, so I'm good at waiting.
But then, you know what that says to me? That says that a shift happened, right? From the times you've waited, he's recognized for himself that you've been patient enough to where you shouldn't have to wait no more.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But I can come to you and talk to you. You're going to listen. You're going to hear the things I need to say. We're going to work this out together.
Right. And the other thing is when you work it out, don't try to be right. Just try to understand. Don't try to be right. What I hear you saying is,
yes.
Okay, when I do this is how you feel. Okay.
Yes. Listening for understanding and validation.
That's it. Don't try to be right. Who cares?
And don't debate it either. Right? Stay out of the debate. Stay out of the content. Stay in the process, people. And the process is the understanding and the validation.
Right.
Natasha, this was such wonderful having you here to talk about your experiences and, definitely your accomplishments, not just in your career, but also as a wife, as a mom, So I appreciate you sharing this today. And definitely, um, I would love for you to send me like your list of your books because I want to be able to post them in the description so people can kind of click on and connect and purchase, your books that resonate with them. I definitely want to do that for you.
Oh, I appreciate that. I'll do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
So
thank
please send
you.
that to me. Okay.
Okay.
Cool. All right. So for all my couples out there, wrapping this up for y'all, we've learned some valuable things today from Natasha. And, the thing that we want you to definitely take back from today is definitely listen to those whispers, paying attention to the lessons, doing some good self-care, even yes, in your marriage, because it's okay to do those things. It's okay to have a little bit of separation while togetherness, right?
Mhm.
As well as do some journaling,
Yes.
pen that paper out, get the biggest board you can find out here, and cut out all the pictures from the magazines because y'all know y'all still holding on to those. Cut those out, cut those words out, and make your vision board today. Because one thing I know I'm gonna do after this episode is do my vision board because I got some places to go thanks to Natasha, and I'm trying to get to Paris too because I ain't been there yet. So if you have not done these things yet, do them. Do them for yourself. Do them to maintain a successful, healthy marriage.
Yes.
Do them to build your family the way that you see fit. Okay? So, as I always say, thank y'all for showing up. Always connect with my podcast through my YouTube channel, Hearts Wine from Hearts Distraction, as well as tune in to my website, www.aliciasdistractions.com. And y'all know I have a poetry book out there as well, Distractions of the Heart. Definitely cop that on Amazon. And last but not least, connect with me and Natasha through Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. I'm definitely on there as well. So, for all my couples out there, love y'all for listening today. And of course, learn the lessons to maintain your marriage. Of course, pour yourself a glass of wine and say what? Cheers!